Hey, everybody. Thank y'all so much for being patient with me as I've had to move the time for the last 2 days. But just thank you for just being patient, and I appreciate you very much. We will be back on track. So I will be back on air tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Eastern Time, 6 a.m. Central. Okay. So thank you again. Today is the last day that I will be airing at 5 o'clock. But again, thank y'all for y'all's patience. So let me get right to it. Today is day 7. So it ends week 1. Okay. And I think that this is very appropriate for day 7. So the title for today is called Kiss Why Goodbye. Kiss Why Goodbye. As we move forward and we progress through this challenge, I must address uh, those people who I feel like me, who can relate to why it's necessary to kiss why goodbye. Why do I even feel that way? And what's my point with that? Okay. Because I know that I listen to a lot of motivational speakers and, on YouTube and then in person when I can. And, they talk about a why all the time. But I'm going to talk to you and give you some food for thought and challenge you on why at some point, why has to go goodbye. All right. So after falling in the dark place over and over and over again, multiple times, I found myself in this dark place. I found that at some point, why didn't even matter. And I was struggling with that. I mean, if I'm honest, I was embarrassed about the fact that here I am and I don't have a why. Why can't I figure out what my why is? And what that did to me, not understanding or not being able to figure out what my why was during that dark place, was it made me stop moving forward. I thought that something was wrong with me and that I had lost my passion and my desire. And it doesn't make sense as to, why I do not have a why. Like there's never been a point in my life that I can remember that I didn't have a why. But here I am at this point, and I felt like something was terribly wrong because I didn't have a why. So I mentioned to you before briefly on one of the other days that what works on one level doesn't work on the next level. So there will come a time when, it used to work for you before. For example, why it used to work for me. It got me through, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but it got me through several things. But for some reason in this season, why is not working for me. And so I was thinking about it, and I like examples. So I'm gonna give you another example. So why it didn't work for me, because it reminded me of, and this is gonna tell my age, but I used to play Donkey Kong. And Donkey Kong was like one of my favorite games. I could sit there for hours and play Donkey Kong. And so, on level 1 of Donkey Kong, you just got to learn how to walk and jump at certain points, right? And then you climb that ladder and you're on the second level now. So on the second level, you learn how to maybe jump and duck, and then you're able to get over the barrels and all the things that Donkey Kong is throwing at you. And then you have the third level and you got to learn how to get a little quicker. Well, it's the same thing. So what worked on level 1 doesn't work on all the other levels. You have to change your strategy. So I feel that why, at some point, you have to say goodbye to it. And this is why. I'm going to give you another example. I remember when being in the dark place, I had a friend, and my friend would just always say to me, like, what's your why? You're not moving, Kay, because you don't know what your why is. You've got to figure your why out. Your why is going to motivate you to make this happen and to move forward and this, and that. And I'm going to be honest with you, I was frustrated. I was like, I don't want to hear that no more. I don't want to hear that. No, it's not my kids. No, it's not this. It's not the family. All that sounds real nice and flowery, but it wasn't enough. And I was embarrassed by the fact that it wasn't enough. And that really bothered me, because it's like, okay, why can't I get this together? What is my why? Like, how did I lose myself? And so I contacted one of my good friends, and he's really wise beyond years, but I sent him the question and I said, I would like for you to tell me, what do you do when it's difficult to see your why? How does one move forward? And his answer was so simple, but yet profound. And it just really got my wheels turning. And I really started thinking. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's right. So this was his answer. He said, your why doesn't matter because it's too finite. And I was like, huh? And so I'm gonna be honest with you, I know what infinite means, but I had to go back and look that up to make sure I understood what he meant by that. So when I looked it up, the definition said boundaries, limitations. And I thought about that and I was like, he's right. And this is what I really started thinking about. He's absolutely right, because when I got my bachelor's degree, my motivation was my kids. I wanted my kids to have, a good home, and I wanted to have a good job with this degree so that I could get them a good home. So my kids were absolutely my why. And then when I got my MBA, my why was, okay, now I got this job and I got them a nice home. Now, okay, let's get a bigger home. So I went to Atlanta one weekend to visit family and saw these $1 million homes and, just started really thinking I need to continue to get my education. I'm going to get my MBA so I could really do some entrepreneurial things and I can afford a house like that and blah, blah, blah. And so then I get the MBA and it didn't happen that way. I didn't get the $1 million house. Things didn't quite work out that way. So, okay, move forward anyway, stayed in a dark place for a little while, but motivated some kind of way and found another why. So this time my why was, let me get this doctorate. If I get this doctorate, I'll be able to make some changes in the world. I'll be able to make a difference in people's lives. So the doctorate was to get a seat at the table so I can make a difference. So I get the doctorate and then I have it. And then even though I have the doctorate, there's still limitations and boundaries. How is that? How is that? So I guess I just want to talk to you just for a quick second and just think about it. What if I told you don't need a why? And that that's only external. It's a whole external factor that has limits and has boundaries. And when you go for it and you try to go and accomplish these goals and you have this why, what if I told you that the why is not enough? It's going to limit you. It's going to put you in a box. It's going to have too many limitations. And we don't need that. When we're going forward, when we're trying to be the best that we can be and we're trying to come out of this dark place and we're trying to improve ourselves, the last thing we need are boundaries or limitations. We don't need that. So my question for you is, if life is a continuous cycle of progress, then why do you need a why? Life is a continuation. It's fluid. It doesn't have limitations. The limitations are what you set. So if life is fluid, why do you need a why? Because why is not. Why has boundaries. Why has limitations. So every time we go for a goal and we've got this why, this external factor that motivates us and pushes us forward, it's not enough. You literally just accomplished a task. You did not accomplish your life's goal, your life's dream. You accomplished one task to try to move forward to that thing. But if you always count on a why, you're going to stop. And you're going to get to a point to you're going to get to a point to when why does not motivate you and propel you forward. Then what? Then what do you do? So in closing, I just want to challenge you. Say goodbye to why. We don't need why anymore. We've got to find whatever that is internally that motivates us, because why is just not enough. I love my kids. I love my family, but why is not enough. They are not enough to keep me pushing forward, clearly. And it's not their fault. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just for me and for whatever my gifts are inside of me, external factors are not enough to birth them. I have to birth it from the inside out. I have to push that. I have to have the intention and the desire to push that. And I have to have the intention and the desire to push it, even though it's hard, even though it's difficult, even though I'm fighting. I still have to have the intention, the will, and the desire, not the why. Because I can birth this thing without the why. I moved forward out of that dark place without the why. So that's proof that the why is not necessary. So in closing, I'm going to challenge you to consider what I'm saying, that why is not enough. It's not enough for this next level. You've got to come up with something internally. Your intention, your heart, your desire, your passion has to be enough. All right, y'all. Y'all have a wonderful day and peace and blessings always. And I will see you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. And make sure you kiss your why goodbye.